Today I want to do a little bit of education around lifting threads. I think lifting threads intimidate a lot of people because they hear a barbed thread, and I think people are picturing like the barbed wire that's rolling across the fence at the local prison. So these threads do indeed have little barbs with which we're able to lift the tissue on top of, but these are not wires. These are very soft, small, pliable threads. So I'm going to go into a little detail on the particular lifting threads that I like to use are called mint. So the three threads that mint threads that I use in almost every face and neck lift that I do are the mint petites, the mint fines, and the mint fixes. So the difference between different lifting threads gets pretty technical, and your provider would understand this, but hopefully I'm able to explain it in a way that it makes sense. So I'm going to show you what the different, trying to get this out of the glare, barbs of the thread look like. So these top two, the petite and the fine, are going to be lifting threads. So you can see at the end of each thread, it's got the little barbs facing, if you're putting them in this way, facing upwards. And then on the other end of the thread, it has the barbs facing downwards. So focus on these top two. These are our lifting threads. We'll get to our fix in a minute. What this accomplishes and why I like this design so much, I think Mint really is brilliant coming up with a design. So when I place a thread with a cannula, say one common trajectory is to go in here with a few threads. The lower part with the barbs facing this way, I'm going to be working that superficial fat pad back up onto those so that it provides a lift. And then the point of the barbs facing downwards is so that that thread anchors and doesn't slip back down. Hopefully that makes sense. So at the bottom, you have your lifting threads facing upward and your anchoring threads facing downward so that you have a lift and an anchor so that thread stays put. And basically the difference between the petite and the fine is just the size. And I'll use different sizes on different areas based on someone's anatomy and my goals in those areas. And then the last thread, so every area that I'm placing threads in, I'll typically do 2 to 3 threads per entry site. Then I'm always going to come in with a finishing touch of a fix thread. So here you can see that the little barbs are going in all different directions. And what this fix thread accomplishes is it's like a double-sided sticky tape. So I put the lifting threads in, I do the lift, I lift those superficial fat pads back where I want them, and then I go in with the fix thread, and it's like a double-sided sticky tape. It Velcros my results together, and so that really accomplishes a lot of stability and longevity in your lift. I use a lot of threads in my lift because I want my patients to get really long-term results, and I'm very intentional with what threads I use where. And so just know that every thread lift is not equal. I don't really know necessarily what all providers do, but if you're going somewhere where just 1 or 2 threads are going in, you may not get the long-lasting result. So in each area, I'm always putting at least 2 to 3 petites or fines plus that double-sided sticky tape fix thread, which I find really helps my patients get wonderful and long-lasting results. Last thing I'm going to do in this little educational video is just show you guys. This happens to be one of the fixed threads, but I just want you to see kind of what it looks like. So you're not gonna be able to see the barbs because they're so small, but as you can see, this is a super soft, pliable, small thread. It's made of PDO, and I'm placing it subdermally, so underneath kind of the skin and the superficial fat pads and what we call the SMAS, right above the muscle layer. And so you don't feel these, you don't see these. Your body dissolves these within about 3 to 4 months. And what happens in terms of sustained results is your body builds this collagen elastin sheath around them, which maintains that lift. So I'm hoping that now that I'm showing you what these look like, it's not quite as intimidating and you understand it's not a wire. And when we're talking barbs, like, I don't think you can probably even hardly make them out in the video, but these do an excellent job when we lift the tissue onto them. But hopefully that clarifies maybe some questions and answers or allays some fears. The one other thing while I have this out to mention is everything I do when I place cannulas, a thread is with a cannula. So for example, if I'm doing a facelift, I'll often do a cannula entry site here, and I bring threads down this way to lift, and then I'll do a cannula entry site here and do a retrograde threading to kind of do a lift in that lower jowl area where I'm actually retrograde threading and lifting this by anchoring it in your scalp. Scalp is a great anchoring position. So on this side of the face, you would have 2 actual needle sticks. So I numb you with lidocaine with epinephrine. The point of the lidocaine with epinephrine is it provides profound numbness, and it has a tiny itty bit of epinephrine in it, and that provides some vasoconstriction, which leads to less bleeding and bruising. So you just get a little bleb of lidocaine with epinephrine, then you're profoundly numb, and then I do a little needle stick because we have to create a hole through which this cannula can go through, because if you try to put this cannula through the skin, it's not going to go through the skin. But that may also allay some fears that we're not sticking you again and again. Like on this side of the face, it would just be 2 little holes that I create with the needle, but you're numb for that. And then thread the cannula with this, thread the cannula in which I took the thread out, but it has the thread in it normally. And then once I send the cannula down to where I want it to be, I work the cannula out, and then the thread is left, and then I lift that tissue onto that thread. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that helps answer some questions. There's lots more details about all of this on our website, and aestheticsconciergeoftexas.com. Lots more educational videos, and as well as demonstrative videos on Instagram. And then also feel free to always reach out with any questions you might have. Thanks.